Hello, everyone. My name is Wayne. I'm your host for today's episode, and this is my co host, Matthew. This is Project Music, PPF, where we talk about music of all genres from the past, present, and future.
In today's episode, we are going to discuss the pop music genre and its diversity. Then, we are going into our Billboard hits for the top 3 pop genre artists. Afterwards, we will talk about our throwback segment. This is where we discuss very popular artists who may have had some drama going on in their lives. Finally, a little game of true and false, where your host will try and think of an answer being either true or false to gain more knowledge in the pop music genre. A small but fun game to close off today's episode.
To begin, we are going to talk today about our main focus. So let's reel this in by asking the question: what is pop music to you?
Oh, well, pop music is everything.
What do you mean by that? What is everything to you?
What I mean is, pop music has been around for such a long time, from the mid 1950s until now, and it's still going strong today. It's a very popular genre of music that I feel has seemed to develop very differently. One second you're listening to The Weeknd, and then the next you're listening to Adele. Such an amazing genre of music that will continue to thrive and will continue to be listened to around the world.
I can agree that pop music is a very popular and diverse genre. The main reason why it is the most popular genre would have to be because of its patterns, rhythms, and lyrics, that and most of the song revolve around the same topics and themes. Pop music contains such a fast tempo that would make the bad feeling or mood that you are having turn right upside down or right upside up. When you are upset, you can listen to an uplifting song. Or if you like to cry and listen to sad music, they have that as well.
An example of an uplifting song has to be Happy by Pharrell Williams. Pharrell actually says that he was asked to write a song about Gru, a character from a movie called Despicable Me, exclusively for the sequel. This is where the main character was grumpy and happy for most of the film, but falling in love and becoming more cheerful is what the song portrays the best because he's happy.
For more of our sad type of music listeners, would Be Easy on Me by Adele. Just recently hit top charts, Adele had a story where she would express the themes of nostalgia, regret, and forgiveness. The song's lyrics represent Adele's plea to her son, in which she details her struggles with her dissolved marriage and requests him to be kind to her. In this scenario, I can understand her truly, and it really shows how creative these artists are and how much effort they put into making music.
I can really see how the two can contrast in a huge way, but when listening to the song, you can actually see why it's in the genre of pop.
Now let's really get into these charts. So for number one of Billboard's greatest pop stars of 2021, we have, drumroll please, Taylor Swift.
There are so many stars who could have filled that spot, but for Taylor, she is someone who rewrote industry rules and had one of the most impactful years of her storied pop career without releasing an entirely new album.
Next up, filling up the second spot on the Billboard's greatest pop stars of 2021, we have Lil Nas X.
To be honest, I feel he deserved the number one spot. This year for him has been something of greatness. For him being a singular pop rap sensation who laid any remaining doubts about his longevity to rest. With a staggering 19 weeks of being on number one spot on the Billboard Hot 100 and earning a RIA Diamond certification faster than any other song in history is surely something of greatness. The song that has hit those charts is the one and only Old Town Road featuring Billy Ray Cyrus.
Last up, we have our number three spot on the Billboard's greatest pop stars of 2021. We have, drumroll please, Adele. Well, speaking of Adele, earlier on she is described as a pop titan. The reason why is because she had returned late in the year and proved herself to still be one of the industry's mightiest forces to be reckoned with.
Within these three artists, they are very talented and are praised by many. Pop being such a big genre puts these artists on a pedestal, and I definitely appreciate their work.
Alrighty, so we are out of time. After this quick commercial break, we will get into our throwback segment, so stay tuned.
What are you doing in there?
What's that?
I wouldn't do that. What are you doing? What are you looking for?
We're helping our classmates.
Thank you. Aquí ayudamos a quienes les gusta comer postres ricos.
I'm helping my customers.
Sim, muito obrigado. Tchauzinho. Eu estou a fazer isto para ajudar a minha família, comunidade e amigos.
Hi, my name is Marconi Gathers, the health director for the Township of Union. Getting vaccinated is the best way to ensure that we continue to help others in our community. COVID-19 vaccines are safe, effective, and free. So please continue to help your community by getting vaccinated at one of our upcoming vaccination clinics. Remember, together we can help our community.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
I think it's just vapor with flavor.
It won't hurt my kid like cigarettes, right?
Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
My kid?
My kid knows it's dangerous.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping, maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Project Music, and today we're getting into our throwback segment where we discuss the most infamous pop genre throwbacks and how nostalgic they really are.
Throwbacks are things of the past, but in our minds, we really cling on to these types of musics because it brings back either memories or feelings. And with pop, there are many different throwbacks that cannot be left unheard.
Most songs in this genre could be classified as being simple and melodic with catchy lyrics. Many of the traditional pop artists of the 1950s were entrepreneurs of pop standards who would take the old well-known songs and put their own individual style into it.
In this time period, we have pop artists known as Michael Jackson, Madonna, Elton John, Celine Dion, Ray Charles, Whitney Houston, Gwen Stefani, and the list just keeps going on and on with all these great artists.
The first artist for our little segment is no other than Britney Spears. In the 2000s, she was a fireball. By that, I mean she was on every station and became very popular at a young age. Her most popular throwback would have to be Toxic. Now, I know we all heard of her song Toxic. Spears had previously spoken about her take on the song back in 2003, telling MTV, quote, "It's basically about a girl addicted to a guy. I really like Toxic. It's an upbeat song. It's really different. That's why I like it so much. This villain girl, she'll do anything to get what she wants, and she tends to go through different obstacles," unquote.
Now, in my opinion, I think this is actually a pretty good throwback because it's so catchy.
Yes, for real. But oh my God, poor Britney. I don't know if you have seen it, but in the Netflix series Britney's versus Spears, she truly has been put through a lot through this documentary. Goes through things like her fight for freedom, for her conservatorship, the ongoing paparazzi scandals, things like that. And in the documentary, it explains her life and how she has been through so much. I truly find this very interesting and saddening at the same time.
Oh yeah, I have heard about that. Actually, I recently found out that as of November 12th of last year, she was deemed free from her conservatorship, which is such great news.
Well, that's great to hear. So now let's move on to our second artist. This is someone who has killer dance moves and can make a crowd go wild. Someone who is beloved and missed by many. And his name is the one and only Michael Jackson, where he was known as the king of pop.
Now, Michael Jackson has great music that is still played today, but one of his greats that is described as a throwback would have to be Beat It. This song has been described as a focus point on avoiding any type of violence by literally walking away from a fight. It is based on the introspection that goes on in every individual, but mostly in men, where they find themselves in a fight or lose situation.
Oh, I could really understand that. The amount of times I've seen people who think they won't fight in any type of conflict or situation, then the other person automatically beats them or wins. It's a crazy way of thinking, to be honest, and it's also a very older generation way of thinking, but can still be very common in today's society. What I mean by that is, people have learned that they can use their words to get by a conflict or situation just fine.
Michael Jackson really had a knack for having songs that dealt with physical and emotional topics. Now we understand that this man is legendary, but even legends have some sort of trials and tribulations.
Yes, he definitely had some ups and downs. An instance that affected him dearly was in February of 1993. Michael Jackson was accused of child sexual abuse. This led to onto the news about the allegations being broadcasted to the public eye. This then received worldwide attention because of how big a pop star Michael Jackson was. The allegations affected Jackson's public image and commercial standing. Several of his endorsement deals were canceled, including his decade-long Pepsi endorsement. Further down that line, he was affected by even more allegations of abuse. To this day, we would really never know if it was true or not. But in his legacy, we continue to view Michael as the king of pop and enjoy his effort that we put into pop music. He truly is a legend.
Next up in our throwback segment, we have the Queen Bee herself, Beyonce. Now, we all know who this woman is. I would think we would all know who she is anyways at this point.
We definitely know who she is. Beyonce Giselle Knowles Carter is an American singer, songwriter, and actress, born and raised in Houston, Texas. Beyonce performed in various singing and dancing competitions as a child. She then began to rise to fame in the late 1990s as the lead singer of Destiny's Child. This group then became one of the best-selling girl groups of all time.
The song that we are introducing today is Crazy in Love. This song celebrates the evolution of a woman. Beyonce explains this as a song about being a girl who was at that point in the relationship where she realizes that she's in love. She's doing stuff that she wouldn't normally do, but she doesn't care. It doesn't matter. She's just crazy in love. I feel like this song is pretty dope, but I do have a question. If you are crazy in love, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, to answer that, you would have to understand what love really is. In the instance of being crazy in love, love is being vulnerable. In my eyes, there's nothing better than to love and be loved right back. Now, being crazy in love with your partner is most likely the best feeling ever because it feels like you can take on the world. So I would outright say that being crazy in love is a good thing.
I feel you on that. With Beyonce being the queen that she is, she has some ups and downs as well. In her group Destiny's Child, there were multiple problems that had brought itself to light, with the group feeling like she was favorited by her father, who was the manager, and that led to a lawsuit. Then later to find out that the world thought Beyonce was the reason that the group disbanded. This is what made her fall into a deep depression for weeks on hand. But the Beyonce that we all know and love sprung back into action, finding new group members. With the new reunion, the past was forgotten about, and she started winning over the public with award-winning performances, movies, and music. And her former group members have reportedly said that there's no love lost.
I think that with all that she went through, she will continue to strive in her career, as now as a solo artist in the music business, she has been doing great on her own.
Wow. 3 great artists and songs that we have covered today. I feel like we should be ready for our next segment, don't you think, Wayne?
Yes, definitely. Right after this quick commercial break, we will get into our game of true or false. So let's get hydrated, grab a snack, and we'll be right back. So stay tuned.
I taught for 20 years, but I started forgetting my lectures. Eventually, he had to quit. My therapist recommended we go to the doctor.
The early Alzheimer's diagnosis allowed us to take control of the situation.
He's been such a positive force and so loving. Thank you. You're welcome.
If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
There's so many rewards in life. You coming into our home was one of the greatest rewards we could have ever had.
You know, it took 20 years, and I got my third child, who was 17 at the time.
It's so cool to watch the adult that you've become, and you really have done as much for us as you think we've done for you.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. Those 9 months were also 273 days of planning. What about your daughter's first costume party? It was out of this world. And let's not forget those barbecues you plan in detail for your family and your more vegetarian by the day best friends. That surprise party for your parents' golden anniversary? You get the golden planning. The same way you plan each detail for those moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make.
What are you doing in there?
What's that?
I wouldn't do that. What are you doing? What are you looking for?
Welcome back to Project Music, and today we're getting into our little game of True or False, where I, Wayne, your host, ask my co-host Matthew questions that are true or false. In this game, it is specifically tailored and different for genres, and for today's genre, we have pop music. It's a pretty simple game. If you guys are watching and want to play as well, go on and guess along with the co-host. At the end of the game, I will reveal the answers, and you can see if you are correct. Not too difficult. Are you ready to play?
Yeah, I'm definitely ready. Let's get into it.
All right, so let's begin. Taylor Swift had a U.S. tour called the Red Tour.
I want to say true.
Lady Gaga's real name is Stephanie Gramanta.
False, I want to say.
Okay. There were 6 members of One Direction originally.
False.
Dave Guetta was born in Paris.
True.
Okay. Justin Bieber's first song was Baby.
I want to say that's true as well.
Dolly Parton wrote Jolene and I Will Always Love You on the same day.
False.
Mariah Carey has insured her legs and vocal cords.
True.
Ariana Grande's hit Thank You Next was #1 for 6 weeks.
True.
Louis Capaldi has never had a #1 hit.
False, I think.
Adele's biggest hit is Rolling in the Deep.
True.
Okay, so now that we have all your responses, we are going to review. We're going to review and see if you got any questions correct. This can also go for our viewers and decided to participate in today's game. So for the first question I asked, if Taylor Swift had a U.S. tour called the Red Tour, the answer is true. The second question I asked was if Lady Gaga's real name is Stephanie Germana. The answer is true. The third question I asked was if there was 6 members of One Direction originally. The answer is false. The fourth question I asked was if David Guetta was born in Paris. The answer is true. The fifth question I asked was if Justin Bieber's first song was Baby. The answer is false. The sixth question I asked was if Dolly Parton wrote Jolene and I Will Always Love You on the same day. The answer is true. The seventh question that I asked was if Mariah Carey insured her legs and vocal cords. The answer is true. The eighth question that I asked was if Ariana Grande's hit Thank You Next was #1 for 6 weeks. The answer is true. The ninth question that I asked was if Louis Calipari was never had a #1 hit. The answer is false. The last question that I have asked you was if Adele's biggest hit was Rolling in the Deep. The answer is true.
Wow, I feel like I learned a lot in those short true or false questions. I wonder how others might have done.
Well, I guess that's the end of the game. I really hope the viewers enjoyed participating in our little game and learning about the pop genre from the music to the artist. Sadly, this episode is coming to a close, but it was great while it lasted.
But don't you worry, because next week we'll introduce you to the genre of Latin music. I think that'll be very interesting. In Latin music, there are so many different things to look at.
In next week's episode, it would include salsa and all of its nature, bringing you to the history behind salsa, the music and creativity that goes into it. Also, the artists who bring into the world for your ears to hear.
Oh, now that's definitely exciting.
Definitely. Bringing in a little bit of spice sounds so dope, and I can't wait to see what's upcoming. Well, it has been fun, being able to inform our viewers and learn a bit about pop music. I'm your host, Wayne.
And I'm your co-host, Matt.
And this is Project Music, PPF, where we talk about music of all genres from the past, present, and future.